In this devotional, I'm going to share with you 3 thoughts from Genesis chapter 4, verses 8 through 16, where I'll ask the question, am I my brother's keeper? Genesis 4, verses 8 through 16 says, Cain spoke to Abel his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" He said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And the Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." Then the Lord said to him, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest any who found him should attack him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Most of us know the story of Cain and Abel. We know it, and we sort of know the answer to the question, am I my brother's keeper? This is the question that Cain asks of God when God comes and confronts him for having murdered his brother. He says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" as if to say, why in the world should I know where he is? But Cain did know where he is. And Cain also knew that he was and should have been his brother's keeper. Instead, what was he? He was his brother's killer. Well, with this in mind, here are 3 thoughts from Genesis chapter 4, verses 8 through 16, answering the question, am I my brother's keeper? Thought number 1, older son. Cain is the older son. He is the firstborn, and the firstborn have some responsibilities. It's the firstborn's responsibility to care for the younger siblings. And this is something that you just sort of know almost intrinsically. My own brother wasn't necessarily very kind to me growing up, but he certainly had my back when it came to bullies or anything like that taking place. He knew that it was his responsibility to take care of the younger siblings. And this is something that we just sort of know intrinsically. It's something that we sort of realize that when the little siblings come up, then we are supposed to care for them. So Cain, being the older son, did a horrendous thing in killing his brother. Thought number 2, punishment. Cain realizes that he is his brother's keeper, and the Lord punishes him, and he punishes him in this way. The ground is no longer going to produce food for Cain. And this is going to be particularly difficult for Cain because Cain was making his living off of the ground. He tended more towards growing the plants than going out and hunting. And because he tended more towards growing plants than going out and hunting, being cut off from the ground was particularly difficult. And it's this punishment and being sent off that he thinks is going to be too overwhelming. But this punishment helps us to see just how significant being your brother's keeper is. He should have been caring for his brother rather than having this jealousy towards him. He should have been caring for his brother and trying to learn from him a little bit because he had displeased God with his offering while his brother had pleased God with his offering. Instead of asking the question, instead he acted out in anger. So the punishment that he receives, he thinks is greater than he can bear, but he finds out that it could certainly be worse. Thought number 3, better protection. Cain is granted better protection than he granted to his brother Abel. Cain was supposed to have been protecting his brother. Cain was supposed to have been teaching him, but he didn't do those things. He was negligent in those roles. And he receives better protection from God than he granted to his brother. And it's because of this protection that Cain isn't just found by somebody else and murdered by one of his own brothers or sisters or nieces or nephews or whatever relatives happen to be running around. God granted him a stay of execution, where maybe it would have been perfectly appropriate for somebody to exact vengeance upon him. The Lord protects him and keeps him safe to illustrate exactly how he should have treated his own brother. These 3 thoughts come from the assigned reading of Genesis chapters 4 through 7. If you'd like to read through the Bible with me, you can do so by subscribing to this channel, by clicking on the link in the description, or by joining the Facebook group Through the Bible, where we are reading the text of Scripture together.